it's Jessie here. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. For today's video, I am going to be going over all of our spending. For the second week in July, we are looking at the dates of July 9th through the 15th. My budgeting week and my tracking week always start on Tuesday since that's when my husband and I are paid. We had a lot of spending this week. Lots of bills that got paid, lots of grocery shopping. It was a difficult week. It was an interesting week for us. I'm going to talk you guys through everything kind of as we go, getting started with the spending that happened on the 9th. So starting on July 9th, we had some bills that I paid, starting with my Sleep Number credit card. That is the last credit card in our list of credit card debts. We have been using the debt snowball method for years and years to try to get out of debt. We've had times when we had a lot more debt than what we have currently. We have times where we've had less. It's been a roller coaster of a journey, but we're currently working on our Sleep Number. The minimum payment for that is what I paid today. The category is bills, and the amount that I spent was $300. Also on the 9th, we paid our car insurance. Michigan has some pretty high car insurance rates, so this is a pretty hefty bill, $590.34 for this. And that was it for the 9th. Moving on to the 10th, some more bills. We paid Michigan Gas, which is the company that we get our gas for our home through. So again, the category here is bills, and the amount was $43. The reason I sit down every week and I write out all of my expenses is just to keep me being mindful of what I have spent. I'm getting all of this information from the various cards that we use for different things. If you're not familiar with how I run our finances, we put pretty much everything that we can on a credit card that we pay off every week. And so I'm looking at that, the transactions from that to get the information to fill in my expense tracker. I'm also looking at our bank account information for anything that we paid with a debit card. If we used cash for something, I'm looking at all the receipts, and it just gives me a chance to put everything in one place. And it just gives me a better idea of our spending overall. If I track my spending and I check in with my budget every week, then I'm more likely to stick to my budget. So in addition to the gas bill this day, I also paid our camper payments. And I categorized this as bills as well. And the amount there was $200. Also, on the 10th, I paid our golf cart payment. So lots of bills that came out right at the first part of this week. That was $150. Moving on. On the 10th, my son and I went to Chick-fil-A for lunch. So the category for that transaction is eating out. We've been trying really hard to eat out less. This week, as you will see, we kind of failed in that regard. And it started here with this Chick-fil-A. So my son and I went, we had lunch. It was $39.94. And then on the 11th, we had a no-spend day. Is that right? Oh, that is right, but I missed some transactions on the 10th. So I'm looking at a little rough draft that I have kind of compiled everything from the various sources and kind of scribbled it down on a notebook. So everything's kind of jumbled and out of order. So sometimes it's hard for me to make heads or tails of what I wrote here. So we went to the pharmacy on the 10th. my husband did to pick up, whether it was a prescription or some medicine or a Band-Aid. I don't really remember at this point, but that comes out of our spending. We do have a medical sinking fund. I'm going to get back into sharing my sinking funds starting in August, I think. I've been really lackadaisical about my sinking funds, and I really want to make them a focus again so that we don't have to take this sort of thing out of our spending budget, and instead we can save up for it. But for now, it's coming out of spending. It was $5.29. And then also on the 10th, I did our grocery shopping for that week. So we did a Walmart delivery order. I had a little bit of a credit with Walmart. I had purchased a bag of dog food and they had marked it as delivered, but it never actually was delivered. So they had refunded me for that in the form of a Walmart credit. And then they also gave me a gift card for having to call and deal with customer service as a sorry we messed up thing. So the groceries that I purchased were more than this, but that credit and refund and everything covered some of it. So it was $130 worth of groceries or something, but out of pocket, I only paid $79.62. So yeah, that was it for the 10th. Lots of spending, lots of bills. The 11th, we had a no spend. And then on the 12th, we did some more eating out at a little local cafe. We were out and about. We were busy. We just got a super quick little brunch. And it was relatively affordable. It was $17.23. So really cheap there. And that was it for the 12th. On the 13th, I ran to Meijer to pick up some things that I neglected to add to my groceries. That happens, it seems like every week. There's always something that we discover we're missing halfway through the week and we have to run out and grab it. So this is coming out of our grocery budget as well. It was $4.97, easy peasy. Okay, and then on the 13th, also while I was out and about, I went into Walmart and I did some shopping. So this came out of our spending category. It was not grocery. I bought a new coffee mug and I don't even remember what else. Just a couple of odds and ends. Oh, a pair of shoes. My dog chewed up my sneakers. She has never chewed up anything like that before. I was very shocked when I came home and discovered that she had chewed up my sneakers. But I needed to get a new pair. So I got a mug and a pair of sneakers. It was $16.79. And then we went to Dunham's, which is a sporting goods store. So this also came out of our spending category, quite a bit of spending this week. And we spent $53.35. Okay. Oh, also while I was at Walmart, I picked up something for my mother-in-law. So I did this as a separate transaction so that I would be able to tell her exactly what it was for so she could reimburse me. At this point, she has not done that yet. So I just decided to take it out of spending. And if and when she gives me that money, it was only $16. I'm not super worried about it. But if she does reimburse me for that, I'll just stick it into a savings challenge or something. So that we took out of spending as well. All right, on the 14th, I placed an order with Nespresso for some coffee pods. So this comes out of grocery, and this order is going to last me a couple of months. I got enough coffee pods to last me just more than, a couple of weeks. They recently raised their limit to get free shipping. It used to be if you spent $35 or more, you could get free shipping. Now I think it's $50 to get free shipping. So I just ordered enough to get me through for a while. It was $67.50. Also, on the 14th, we had our HBO Max subscription come out. So this category is auto pay. All of our little subscriptions go into one line item that we call auto pay. It just comes out of our account automatically. We don't need to think about it. That was $15.82. All right, and then on the 15th, for whatever reason on the 15th, while I was at work, I decided I was going to go ahead and order our groceries for that following week. Usually I do my grocery shopping on Tuesdays. But for whatever reason, I just got it in my head I needed to get the grocery shopping done early. So on paper, when I do my budget check-in, which will be the next video up on my channel, it's going to look like I spent a lot of money in groceries. Because I did. During this 1 week, we bought 2 weeks worth of groceries. I just shot the day early, and so it's going to skew my numbers a little bit. It just means that next week, when I check in with my budget, I should spend significantly less in groceries. So it turned out I ended up being really grateful to myself that I did this. Did not know what was going to happen on this day. But for whatever reason, it just got in my head I needed to order groceries early, and it turned out that I was really glad that I did. And I'll explain that in a minute. But it was a Walmart delivery order. The category here is grocery. And the amount that I spent was $190.80. Also, while we're at it, I'll just go ahead and talk about the little bit of spending we did on Amazon. We recently got new phones, and the business bought our phones. We do use our phones for running our business. If you're not familiar, my husband and I run a sewer and drain cleaning company. We needed new cell phones, so the company paid for those. But we, with our personal money, bought like the cases and that sort of thing. So we had a couple of transactions at Amazon that came out of spending. One for $27.50. That bought my husband a phone case, myself a phone case, and some glass screen protectors. When the phone case that I ordered for myself got in, I realized I ordered the wrong size. And so this was also written down as the 15th. I think I wrote these dates down wrong. I think one of these was the 14th and the other was the 15th. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It was all during this week. As long as it's accounted for, the numbers or the dates don't really matter. When I discovered that I had purchased the wrong size phone case for myself, I ordered the proper one. I do still have that wrong case here that I need to return. When I return that, I will get some of this money, some of this $27.50 back. But at the time, I just went ahead and ordered the case so that I could, get it as soon as possible. I still need to make that return. So that was that. Then we had a trip to the pharmacy, and I do know that this was a copay for a prescription. So again, that's coming out of our spending. Our spending category got used and abused this week for sure. That was $11.64. And then we also had my YouTube Premium membership come out. And that category is auto pay. And the amount there was $22.99. Okay. Now why I'm grateful that we ended up getting the groceries a little bit early. We went to a soccer game this evening on the 15th. My son got injured during the game. We ended up pulling him off the field and rushing him to the emergency room. He's okay, you guys. I thought for sure he had broken his leg with the way that he went down and the way his leg twisted when he fell. It was my worst nightmare. Terrifying. Ultimately, with the x-rays and everything, it was determined that he sprained his ankle. It was not a break, thank the Lord. but he's going to be on crutches for the next couple of weeks while that heals up. He can't play soccer for the next couple of weeks, which for him is absolutely devastating. He is the type that loves to be physically active. He works out at the gym, you know, 4+ times a week. He's going to play soccer every single day. And so he's going a little stir crazy. Not being able to play soccer. He's still been going to the gym and doing his upper body workouts because he's just that type of kid. He loves to be active. But because he's been on crutches, it was really helpful to already have groceries here at home, not have to worry about leaving him alone to go pick up groceries or whatever, not having to even think about it. Everything was already planned ahead. Luckily, I don't know if it was mother's intuition that had me order groceries early, or just a coincidence, but either way, I was really grateful that I had done that and it was something I didn't need to worry about. While we were in the hospital, waiting to be seen, waiting for the x-rays, my son was starving. We were thirsty. We definitely came unprepared. We didn't know that we were going to be stuck in the emergency room for hours. So on this day, on the 15th, my husband bought a soda from a vending machine. So we're going to take that out of spending. And the amount was $285. And then also, while we were waiting, my husband ran out and grabbed us dinner. We ate in the emergency room while we waited for the results of the x-ray. That was at Wendy's. This was not in the plan. We had already eaten out more than we should have this week, and then we had this as well, but again, circumstances beyond our control. That was $38.97. But yeah, it was very, very scary. I do not wish that on anyone. Watching my son fall, I swear, replays in my head as one of the most terrifying things ever. You never want to see your kid get injured. So yeah, definitely some spending that happened as a result of that injury. Thankfully, he's okay. You will see in next week's expense tracking, there were some expenses involved in that. We have not yet gotten that hospital bill yet. That's one of the main reasons I really want to get back to my sinking funds, because we have not yet met our deductible for our insurance this year. And so it's going to be a pretty hefty bill that we're going to have to worry about. We had to buy him crutches. That was an expense, you know. These things happen. Luckily, you know, we're not super prepared for it, but it's not going to put us super behind. We're in a position where we have good health insurance and everything, but it could have been so much worse. And I'm so grateful that he is okay, and hopefully he'll be back to playing soccer in a couple of weeks. But it definitely affected our budget a little bit this week. It's going to affect our budget a little bit next week. And that's just all part of personal finance. So yeah, we need to get some totals. This was a lot of spending this week. So let's start adding things up. Okay, so here is my new phone. If anyone was curious, I did get the Samsung Galaxy S23, and I'm going to use my little calculator here to help me add everything up. I need to grab some highlighters so I can keep track as I go. I'm not sure how many categories we've got, so I'm just going to grab all the highlighters here, and we're going to start by adding up the bills. And I'm going to scooch this up so that hopefully you guys remain in frame. So for bills, we have 300. And I'm just going to highlight things as I add them into my calculator. Wow, I totally missed that line. Did you guys see that? Do not have the steadiest of hands. So then I've got 590, 34, plus $43. Plus 200 plus 150. And do I have any other bills? I don't think so. I think that's everything. We got them all knocked out right at the beginning. So the amount that I spent on bills, $1,283 with 34 cents for bills. It was a big bill week. we tend to pay all of our bills or almost all of our bills in the first couple of weeks of the month. And then the second half of the month is a little bit less bill heavy. So it was a lot of bills all at once, but now they're out of the way, paid. We don't have to worry about them. Let's do eating out next, and we'll use yellow for that. So let's just clear my calculator and start again, starting with $39.94 plus $17.23 plus $38.97. So yeah, we had already spent more than we should have on eating out the first part of the week, and then we had Austin's accident happen and ended up having to eat out more. So overall, not the greatest, especially when you consider the fact that our eating out budget we drastically cut for July. So $96.41, that's half our budget, like right there. So that might mean we're over budget for eating out by the end of the month. You guys, like I said, watch that budget check-in. That will be tomorrow's video. If you're watching this today, it was uploaded to see kind of where we're sitting with our eating out budget and our budget overall, how this week kind of plays into our overall month. Okay, let's do spending next. I don't wanna, this is gonna be tough. It's a lot of spending. So most of these are little transactions, but even so, like they add up. $5.29 plus $16.79 plus $53.35. Guess they're not all little transactions, are they? $16.51 plus $27.50 plus $19.04. And like I said, I will get some of this back when I make that return, but for now, I gotta account for it. Plus $11.64. I think, nope, one more. $2.85. That's a lot of green. Oops, what did I do? I did something wrong here. $11.64, missed a plus sign, plus $2.85. $152.97 in spending this week. So I guess it's not terrible, but it's not great either. Definitely have had worse weeks, but we've also had better weeks. So there we go. Let's go ahead and get groceries out of the way. Let's use this pretty pink for groceries. I love this bright pink color. Make me a little bit happier, even though the amount that we spent in groceries was a lot this week. $79.62 plus $4.97 plus $67.50 plus $190.80. $342.89. So if you think about it, that's 2 weeks worth of groceries. That's not bad at all. We likely will have some more grocery shopping next week. Even though we bought the bulk of it, we always have a midweek trip where we go buy something. So it's not quite a full 2 weeks worth of groceries, but still, like, $342.89 is not terrible, considering there's definitely been weeks where we've spent $300 plus just for a week. All right, and then lastly, we'll do auto pay, and then we'll get a total. So we had HBO Max for $15.82, and then YouTube Premium for $22.99. So not too shabby. It was an overall pretty expensive month. We had a lot of bills though, and we had a lot of eating out, a lot of spending, just a lot. It was a lot. Okay, auto pay. $38.81. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get a grand total for all of this. And then I'm going to get a total of just the variable spending. because that'll help me fill in my monthly budget. So in total, we had $1283.34 plus $96.41 plus $152.97 plus $342.89 plus $38.81. Yeah, we spent a ton of money this week, $1,914.42. However, if we just add up the variable categories, the $96.41 plus $152.97 plus $342.89 plus $38.81. In variable this week, we spent $631.08. And just to double check my math, I'm going to add this variable total, the $631.08, to the bills, the $1283.34, and hopefully we get the $1914.42 total. We did. Just like to double check my math there, because you guys know I'm not the best at math, and I often fat finger my calculator. So yeah, y'all, a lot of spending this week. Last week, we spent very little, at least in terms of variable. Like, we had some bills, as I mentioned. The first 2 weeks of the month are always bill heavy, but our variable categories were very low. We definitely made up for that this week, did we not? I'm going to use this information from my expense tracker to fill in my hybrid budget worksheet, but that will be a separate video, so you guys can be on the lookout for that coming soon. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. That really helps me out. There's links down below for all of my budget worksheets and the various ways that you can get them if you're interested. I will see you guys real soon with another video. Take care, friends. Bye.